Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Power of Energy Healing. I am Christy Warnick. I am a spiritual, intuitive, and energy healer, and I love helping people to transform their lives for the better. And I have here with me Alicia Power, and we're going to be talking about Akashic Records and soul evolution, and she has some amazing information to share with us. So we're going to take just a minute to share this out. So I invite you all to do the same. Okay, are you ready?
Christy, do you want me to just introduce myself a little bit?
Yes, please do that while I share this out some more. And we're just going to pray that the video quality stays good and working correctly there.
Hi, everybody. My name's Alicia Power. And I'm just so honored to be on this call and on this live session with Christy. So I've been an energy healer professionally for 30 years, 3 decades. And I am also a very clear telepath with the worlds of spirit. And again, I've been communicating with the worlds of spirit clearly all day, every day for 30 years. So I love to teach people how to talk two-way clearly with their spirit teachers, with their spirit tutors. I call them spirit tutors. It's one of my huge passions. And about 2 years, remember, I've been doing this for 30 years. So about 2 years into my journey, because just before that, just a little bit of a background here. At the age of 18, I began to follow an Indian spiritual guru. It wasn't in India, it was over here in the West. And for 16 years, I was just fully into a deep path of spiritual practice, meditation practice, 2 hours a day. I was part of lived in an ashram in a celibate lifestyle for 6 years, just completely committed and dedicated to a life of service and communion with God Source in those early years. And round about the age of 30, and you guys, I know you're thinking, the age of 30, and she's been doing this for 30 years, how old is she? Anyway, about the age of 30, I opened up my psychic abilities very quickly because I'd had such long years of deep meditation states, and very quickly and easily opened up to the worlds of spirit, and they began to teach me directly how to do energy work. And from a master energy spirit tutor was teaching me for 2 years. And after those first 2 years, they introduced me to a much higher level of the spirit world, which called themselves creator beings. These are overseer beings of universes, of all universes actually. So they carry with them an enormous amount of acceleration, and this is the difference of the kind of energy that I work with now, have been now for those nearly 30 years. And so deep energy work, working in the Akashic Records, traveling into the soul history of someone. I'm not doing private sessions anymore, but I work with groups, and we work with lots and lots of online workshops, and I've got about 11 very popular courses online, and I've just been doing this a long time, and I've been speaking on Tele Summits for years now, and so I'm sort of in teacher mode a lot of the time these days, but every day I'm working deep in the Akashic Records. So I've just had so much fun working with spirit, and I'm so close to them. They are sort of in my mind. We're sort of telepathic buddies, we're just like this. And I'm really deliberate with how I work with them. And I'm very deliberate in knowing who I'm talking to in the world of spirit. This is just a little bit of background of how I work. So I know who I'm talking to. I talk to them clearly in English two-way. I watch them very clearly do what they do in the Akashic Records. These guys cut and paste and rewire the electromagnetic waveforms that are in our aura. And they do it incredibly specifically. They are ancient light scientists of light. And when they work in somebody's electromagnetic field, when they work in the Akashic Records, which are the memory patterns from eons and eons and eons and eons of soul existences, not just your past lives, but also when you existed as a soul in higher layers of light, higher levels of light. And had roles to play. You had jobs to do. And sometimes we failed in those roles, even in those high layers of light. We had learning experiences, right? And so the memories of all of that, and sometimes we spent time in shadow, by the way. This is not even any lifetimes. I'm just saying, just really quickly, it's a big picture. You know, the Akashic Records hold memory not just of human lifetimes, but of just times way before you started incarnating in human lifetimes. So the Akashic Records are that. They are the memory patterns of your soul. And they are all held in the electromagnetic waveforms that are sitting in your personal auric field. And remember, everybody, that you may not be aware of this, but you've got a 7-layered auric field for this lifetime. And then you've got octaves and octaves and octaves and octaves that nearly unlimited going up of versions of that, or octaves of your auric field, traveling up higher and higher vibratory fields that hold these, you know, records that go right back to the very origin of your soul, when it was first birthed as a soul, not as a human, but as a soul, right? So, and I was told many, many, many years ago that there's a kind of a timeline of from the moment a soul is birthed into this universe to now, the last 20% of that timeline are human lifetimes. You guys all got that? So it's like 80%. I know 80% of that timeline was not human lifetimes. It was just existences in the etheric, in communities of spirit, not necessarily ET communities or not even galactic communities, but even beyond this universe sometimes. There are multiple universes. So anyway, the soul has traveled and it's got a lot of memories, and we sit here. This is a message from my spirit tutors to everybody today. We sit here today having journeyed as a soul for such a long time, and the soul has got a huge momentum behind it, momentum like velocity behind it. Just very quickly, I want to say this thing. So the soul is roaring with power as it's sitting in our human body. Now, some of you guys listening to this going, no, is my soul roaring with power? I don't know. You know, I've got bills to pay, you know, I've got to, you know, watch my television program. Is my soul roaring with power? It's like, huh? But it is actually, because it's taken a long time to get to this lifetime. And this lifetime, every day, every second's clicking by, and the soul's looking out of your eyes, and it's on a huge mission. And I'm kind of, something I love to say is that the soul is made of light. So, and your light body is super complex, super layered, super complex. It's got an anatomy, and it holds a whole variety of types of light and variations of light frequency. And the purpose of, one of the hugest purposes of this lifetime is to increase, and many of you already know this, is to increase your light quotient, is to change the type of light that's sitting in your auric field, to find very high frequency light and to dump it, download it, soak your auric field in it, stand under the waterfall of very, very high light. And just, by the way, I happen to bring really high light because I work with these creator beings from very high layers of the spirit world, and that's what they bring. They bring in this type of vibration which is super fast, super accelerated, and extreme light, extremely high light. Anyway, so your soul is looking for ways to increase its light because it's come here to do a job of holding light and radiating it and kind of pulsing it out, and like a transmitter, it wants to transmit out high frequency light. Just very quickly, I've got a lot to say. Just very quickly, light equals intelligence, spirit intelligence, consciousness intelligence. So the higher the light, the higher the intelligence of the spirit intelligence. And that's one of the reasons you want to bring in higher and higher frequency, higher and higher types of light into your auric field, so that you start resonating with a higher spirit intelligence that then starts to connect you back to your memory of yourself as a high soul of light. So it's like peeling away the layers of who you are as a soul in this lifetime, is the journey du jour of the day. The journey of the day is the journey of this incarnation. So holding light, but also for two reasons. One is to radiate that highlight out, but also to increase your memory of who you are as a soul, because that spirit intelligence starts working on your brain and on your thinking patterns, on the way you see yourself and think about yourself. It starts to change you, and you start to sit more and more and more inside yourself as remembering who you are as a soul. So remembering, I just want to say, Christy, is a big part of what we're talking about today, because the Akashic Records are memories. And as we allow the worlds of spirit, these technician beings, to come and sort of find ancient memories of fear, for example, or grief in our Akashic Records, because they do it very deliberately and specifically as the technicians that they are, they start to transmute that deep held, dense fear. And as they unravel it like a ball of wool, they just start unraveling it, melting it. They then transplant new software, new light into that spot. And that new light starts to beep, 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 and send a different signal into you. And what starts to happen is you start to, beautiful word, awaken. You start to awaken. New software sitting in you, old fear gone. It's like you start to remember. So with the Akashic Records is memory, a memory bank, if you can say, of everything that's ever happened, of every thought that's ever been, of every feeling that's ever been, of every intention that's ever had, anyone's ever had, any being, sentient beings ever had. It sits in this membrane, in this multi-layered membrane, super membrane, which is the Akashic Records. And when you work with spirit, and I'm a big one for working with spirit teams, working with spirit technicians, because they're the experts. And so if we, who kind of can't quite remember how to do things sometimes in the worlds of spirit, because we're not used to being in the worlds of spirit, if you turn to a beloved spirit tutor that you've created a big relationship with, you're really strong on that relationship with the spirit tutor, you trust them, you can lean on them, and you can ask them to sort of just support you in lots of key moments in your life. But more than that, you can turn to them and ask them to travel into the Akashic Records and find things that you don't have the skill to find, specific things, like your own specific things, or somebody else's specific fears or griefs, because they've asked you to help you. So it's the spirit technicians that actually do the job. But if you're tuned into them, if you can turn around and actually chat to them, look at them, see what they're doing, ask them questions, then a whole world opens up of power, of capability of change for you, for somebody else. So this is the big leverage that I love to talk about. I'm 30 years of doing this, 30 years of collaborating and partnering with spirit in this detailed way. And this is what I'm just hugely passionate about it. Like, I'm going like, guys, get into this. And today we're going to, by the way, just a little bit later on, we're going to do a process. Christy and I, we're going to dive in. Everybody else who's on this call, we're going to together, we're going to go, and teams of these spirit technicians, and I'll be describing what I'm watching them do with us. They'll be going into our Akashic Records, and they will be finding something that's sort of like bubbled to the surface as a priority for today in our Akashic Records, right? A fear or a grief, and it will be a significant past life that will be touched on today. So just letting you know.
Awesome. So we did have a couple of questions here, and someone, they were kind of wanting just to know if they were going through an awakening, which I believe it's a process. I mean, we're all going through that, or have been through that, but continue to do so, right?
For sure. Can I say, my spirit teams are talking to me to say this because I'm kind of online with them, right? So instantly they're saying, every moment of your life, you are meeting a challenge. And this is another major purpose of your life when you meet challenges, because there's like a tensile moment of how strong are you? So it's like a checkpoint every time you meet a challenge, like almost every moment of your life. This is in the theme of awakening, right? Am I awakening? So constantly we're in that sort of grist of the mill. We're in that, shall I be seriously afraid that I can't, meet my utility bills, or shall I, or shall I just go into empowerment about it and just stay calm, right? So there's this, it's like constantly there's these choices that we have of how am I connecting with my reality, with what's coming at me. And so the awakening process, couple of things here. When you put your hand up, and this is for everybody listening, when you put your hand up inside yourself, you don't have to say it out loud. When you put your hand up going, I would like to meet a spirit tutor to start accelerating my awakening, things start to happen. That spirit tutor starts to kind of knock on your door, knock on your mind. And if someone like me shows up and you can meet a spirit tutor where you're in a deep inner visualization, you get a feeling for who that spirit tutor is, and you go, okay, there's a name, I can start directing my attention towards the specific being, and we can start forming a relationship, and they can start holding my hand, and we can start meeting every day. They can start telling me stuff about myself. Wow, the awakening process moves fast when you do that. Just want to say that. However, generally speaking, every single moment of your life, there's armies, teams, let's just say, of spirit tutors standing around you. Let's pretend this is a video game. We're in a virtual reality game, sitting in our armchair with the virtual reality helmet on and the goggles on, and we think this is real. We can reach our hand out and touch something solid. But one day when we die, we'll notice that this is not real. And so the soul in us is what's real. It's what's permanent, and has passed into this lifetime and will pass out of this lifetime. But in the meantime, you've got co-directors of this virtual reality video game standing around your armchair as you're sitting in it. This is the extraordinary thing. So at any moment, you can say, hey guys, I need some help with this huge internal pressure that I might be having at this moment about a challenge, about a fear. Because these guys are standing around the virtual reality armchair with you constantly, watching to see how you are reacting to this video game, right? So even if you haven't met them personally or turned around to notice who they are, they're still there. So you can ask them to shift something in you, to change the script in your virtual reality game, out in the movie that you're in. They can change it for you. What I'm saying right now is that there's a lot of help. And all they're looking for us in our armchair and in this virtual game is how courageous are we? How fearless are we? That's what they're looking for. That's what they're checking on the scoreboard of this game of life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it's very real.
Do you believe that it's possible for you to be like fearless, or, I found that it was very freeing for me to realize that there's so many possibilities, and also to open up to so much that I may have once believed was true for me that is no longer. I'm like, okay, that's just not true for me anymore. And so the more you let go of that,
give me an example. Give me an example. That's something that's no longer true for you.
Okay, so like, what came up recently? I was trying to think of a good one because there's been so many. So a good one, I guess, would be, I was trying, like I said, there's been so many. There's so much that I know is no longer true. Okay, here's a good one that I used an example in one of my videos recently. Was a friend of mine, we were talking, and one of her daughters had caught like a cold or something, had some symptoms from a friend of theirs that they were around, or in a class that they went to. And it was realizing, like, any kind of these things that we may have believed that you would catch from someone else, whether they be contagious or whatever, that doesn't have to be true for you. You don't have to get sick or need to get sick, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wow.
That's one just thing that just recently came up, but there's been a lot of different things, but just a lot of things that that just seemed limited, and it's like, if it seems limited, then it is, type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. When we stick a foot through the veil into the worlds of spirit, a lot changes about how we're thinking about our lives, right? Because suddenly things are a little bit more fluid, and also we're a little bit more in control of our life. Life doesn't seem so out of control because, number one, we've got the worlds of spirit to teach us that this is an electromagnetic situation that we're in. We're actually in an electromagnetic force field that's surrounding us our entire life. The being that we are, our cells are changing constantly. This body changes. You know, the cells that were here several weeks ago are no longer here in our human body. So it's the force field, it's the soul that's sitting and occupying this physical body. Who was it recently? Was just saying that this is just a community of cells. So we've stepped into a community of cells, which is our body. But the force field, which is our soul, is an electromagnetic being, and it's hanging out in a soup of electromagnetic force energy, right? And so when you start totally sitting and knowing that, it's not just a theory, because the worlds of spirit sort of crash you into the realization that that's the truth, right? And then anything on the outside, like catching a cold or something like that, has a completely different, you've got a completely different awareness of what's going on with that. It's not just germs, right? Or bacteria. It's consciousness, it's intention, it's allowance, it's sovereignty, it's how am I handling my personal electromagnetic field? Am I in disempowerment and fear? Because fear resonates and attracts similar vibrations to itself, right? And also viruses are conscious, and also anything that connects with us energetically is conscious. Everything is sentient, and that you can talk to. All the cells are sentient, all the viruses and the bacteria are sentient. Consciousness, you know, is communicating constantly. Anyway, so it's a whole different world when you start playing with the world of spirit, eh? Like you get a completely different point of view.
And also
there's a lot of empowerment.
Yeah, and also what you're resonating with, people, you know, call it, they talk about resonance. And so it's like, you know, if there's something that you just don't resonate with, it's not that you have to have a fear about that either. It could just be that you're just unaffected by it, or that neutrality or whatever. But I know that resonance has come up this week as kind of just something in my awareness. So, so we were going to talk about the Akashic Records and kind of how also the connection there with energy healing. And so when you work with one or the other and how that works.
Yes. Wow. You can't separate the two, because energy healing is always about working within the Akashic Records. So the electromagnetic force field that surrounds us, which is the quantum energy that surround us, that we're actually in, that we are part of. The Akashic Records are part of that, and our auric field is part of the Akashic Records. So meaning that the ocean of energy holds consciousness everywhere. If I have a thought, it gets sent out into the Akashic Records. It gets transmitted out, like when dolphins or whales are sending sound out through the ocean. It travels a long way. So every thought that I have, every thought that you have, everybody's watching this, is being sent out into the Akashic Records. So the Akashic Records are just this massive hard drive, computer hard drive, which is collecting thoughts constantly. And so when you do healing, I'm not sure if humans do healing, because what I'm saying is that humans have a lot of amnesia about how to use their core intention. And intention is what does healing. And that's why usually, just really quickly, as somebody's been doing this for 30 years in detail, usually the human thinks they're doing something, but actually it's their spirit teams that are coming in and doing the shift. Because and I'm being told to say right now, it's the spirit teams that you let through the portal of your auric field, through your electromagnetic field, into the electromagnetic field of the person who you're working with. They're the ones that are traveling in with very precise laser beams of intention and traveling into that person's auric field, into their Akashic Records, and noticing a little tiny field or a huge field of what they call disturbance, which will be a conglomerate of grief, of fear, of shock, of powerlessness. These are all very specific signature frequencies that they are looking at as a snapshot. And they will go in and they will start not only just healing it, but they will start looking at who's owning it. So who put it there? Who orchestrated a moment where that individual connected with something of some fear or something that caused fear? And usually, because I'm very aware of how the worlds of shadow work, I've been trained in understanding how they work. Usually there's a little hierarchy of ownership in the worlds of shadow that actually set up a moment of fear. For an individual, now the bigger picture of that is that is an opportunity for that individual to get help from spirit to release that fear and to feel empowered again in that moment. It's always an opportunity for empowerment.
Yeah.
But what I just want to say is it's very complex. And that's why I know that the worlds of spirit are the ones that go in.
Well, that's the reason why it can be easy, because it's not us that has to know everything. Yeah. Because, the higher sources know all this stuff. And so there's no way we could possibly know every tiny detail. Yeah. And I like to look at it as a focused intention in with that divine connection. To me, that brings together can bring together that instant healing or whatever it is, and yeah, so that's
Christy. And something I want to say about that too, and about you too, is that you as a healer and all healers are amazingly unique in who you've been in other existences and other lifetimes. So exactly. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of lifetimes for you, where you might have been an American Indian medicine woman, you might have been an ancient Lemurian temple priestess, you might have been a cetacean major consciousness in the cetacean communities, meaning the dolphin and whale communities, long time ago. So you might have traveled through many, many lifetimes, you could say, where you were a mentor and you held the space for people to remember and to get more empowered and to train people. And so in this lifetime, you're sitting in this human body, in this personality with the name Christy, right, in this time, but you bring with you lifetimes and all your Akashic records of knowledge. And so I just want to say quickly that many healers who come to healing through Reiki, through whatever route they choose, they're bringing with them, every individual is bringing with them ancient knowledge and ancient practices and ancient habits of healing. So what's really interesting is that someone like you could just step into this role of being a teacher and go, hey, I've been doing this for lifetimes. This is like, just putting on a comfortable overcoat and I'm in the groove immediately, right? Like, it's like you might get a few pointers from a few people, but then you just take off. You just take off. It's like, and you shoot past a lot of other people because you've been maybe trained through other existences. So I'm just saying that it's not about this lifetime and the skills that you learn in this lifetime. It's who you are as a soul that you bring to being a healer. And it's incredibly exciting to be here on the planet now and to bring forth your gifts, Exactly. What do you think about that?
I think that's awesome because there's so much that the soul knows, but also there's so much that the soul can help you with as well, because the soul is very intelligent, and especially when you connect in, there's so much that can even go on between that highest source and the soul itself. And you were talking about like the soul evolution, and it's all connected. It really all can work together so beautifully.
Yeah, totally. Hey, let's talk about soul evolution. So just very quickly, I'm going to get on my hobby horse here. So it's almost like human lifetimes. I'm being told to say this. It's almost like human lifetimes are opportunities to set the record straight, the Akashic Records, right? It's almost like the human lifetime between the date and the dash of our life and the death date, right? That little dash. This little lifetime is an opportunity to find as many healers as possible, to work incredibly hard, really put your nose to the grindstone and work hard. This is for everybody listening. And find healers to to go into the Akashic Records with their spirit partnerships, with all their spirit technician teams, to go into your Akashic Records, everybody listening, to heal them as rapidly as possible, as deeply as possible, so that in this lifetime, in that little dash between your birth date and your death date, so that in this lifetime you wake up. What happens when spirit technician teams go into your Akashic Records? They blow up with dynamite all the fear. They blow it up and then they vacuum it out. And what starts to happen is you start to awaken, you start to remember. Your conscious prefrontal cortex, the part of you that's sort of thinking logically, starts to connect more and more and more with the fact that you're an ancient soul. It's really interesting. And you start to sit inside yourself as an ancient soul. So the more you clean your Akashic Records, the more you're operating from, that even your logic is operating from the inner position of your higher soul. So this is the purpose of healing your Akashic Records, to get on track with your soul purpose and your full soul expression in this lifetime. And so I talk about soul evolution, and I just want to add another little extra element to this to push your inner soul into its evolution more, because there's the human evolution, but then there's the soul evolution, which is interesting. So when you connect up with, like I did, with creator beings, overseer beings, like beings that are very high on authority in the worlds of spirit, layers and layers and layers of authority, like a sort of a pyramid scheme, goes up in authority. They all love and mentor each other below, right, in this sort of a setup. But when you start working with very high creator beings, which I introduce them to everyone I can, then what starts to happen is that inner soul, that higher soul inside of you, wow, that starts to awaken and that starts to accumulate power. So it's not even your human personality self or your logical self anymore. It's the soul starts accumulating higher light, higher spirit intelligence that starts to build in its force field. And what's happened to me in this lifetime, and what can happen to anyone else who works directly with these creator beings, is that you can shoot straight past your original soul agenda that it came to do in this lifetime. You can shoot straight past it and just become exponentially more, way past your imagination, of who you can become in this lifetime. Yeah. So, yeah.
And I look at that kind of like as an override. Like sometimes, these things, the divine can override these things to kind of get you to that next level, because you're ready, or it's just like, yes, let's do this. So I know a lot has changed for me in the past couple of years, and it's like, we're talking lifetimes worth of stuff that happened. And so it's like crazy stuff, but I'm here, I'm doing this, and I'm helping people and collaborating with other people. So that's the reason why I love having people to come on here and share, their perspectives and also just other knowledge too,
Yeah, totally, Christy. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
You've got a process, because we got to wrap
I
this
do.
up. Yes, I know
I do, Christy.
We got the video working, so we're good.
I want to ask you a quick question. My spirit teams, my creator being spirit teams, want to ask you a question, and they want to ask you. It's a beautiful moment. This is like a opening moment for them and you. They're saying, would you like them to help you move even faster in your soul evolution? They're asking me to ask you.
Yes, I feel like I've gone so fast, so in such a short period of time, but I also came very close to not being here at all. So I'm getting to that, almost to that like fearless state where I'm like, you know, I'm totally ready. Yes.
Wow, I love that. Wow.
I mean, it's like I'm like, okay, I've been so close several times. I'm just like, I have no fear of death, what that I know of whatsoever. And so it's like I'm
Wow.
ready to do what I'm here to do, you know?
Wow.
And it's really, like I said, I did my STAR program, but I tweaked it some for myself. And so there's like so much that just my Akashic records should be pretty squeaky clean by now, but there's always stuff there, you know, but it's all good though. It's getting to that point to where it's like I know that I'm doing, I mean, so close to what I'm, you know, if not every, you know, so much of what I was meant to do here and beyond even. So yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you. That they're just tuning into your auric field right now. And I just, as they're doing that, I'd like to ask everybody who's watching this to ask yourself the same question. If you would love to be upgraded, supported, accelerated in this lifetime, your soul accelerated, excuse me, in this lifetime by these creator beings that I work with, because it's kind of symbiosis. And they can feel your auric field. It's like, because you're connecting with them, because you're looking at me, my aura holds them, so they will connect with you. So anybody who's watching this right now, just ask yourself, would you like to be supported and accelerated in this lifetime as a soul, in your awakening, in your empowerment, in your sort of movement into soul expression? And if you'd like them to help you, this is the moment to ask yourself. And you can just ask yourself and notice if it's a yes or a no, and they will feel into your auric field and they'll feel you. It's like in that sort of quantum field, they can sense like the light beings and what everybody's thinking and feeling. So they'll go, okay, there's one, there's another one. They'll tune in.
And so I just want to answer really quickly. Kira, no, Kira, this is a special time for me today because Alicia here is in Australia. So this is her morning time. So to get her on the show, I'm doing a special time today. So, and I just thank her for being here. And so I'm just going to, so I'm just going to put this. Yeah, she's Australia. It's the accent. Yeah, so anyone that is wanting this kind of, what would you call it? Upgrade,
acceleration.
Yes, for your soul, that soul evolution. It doesn't, you know, you can still, I tell people that it's okay to be a work in progress. It's not a race or a competition.
That's right.
It's about collaboration and doing the best you can. Doing the best you can and just showing up, right?
Totally, just showing up. And guys, one big thing is ask. So ask. Remember, you're sitting in a virtual reality armchair and you've got a team of spirit tutors surrounding you and watching how you're doing in this life. So they're watching the movie unfold with you. So you can just ask them to switch things, to tweak things, to shift things. So honestly, inside yourself, outside in the movie itself, and they will very quickly support you. So ask. It's a big one.
Yeah. So did you want to do the Akashic Records healing?
Let's do it.
Quickly? Okay, we got just a few minutes. So
okay. Yeah. All right, everybody, closing your eyes. We're going to let some of these high teams, go into our Akashic Records, and they will find something there's a sadness in us from a past life that's sitting in our Akashic Records that's still connecting to us. They're going to find it and they're going to transmute it, unravel it, release it, delete it. Let's do it. Okay.
Yeah, so just put in the comments, yes, if you would like to receive that Akashic Records healing now. And they're just going to go in and find something that is best to be healed at this time.
All right, everybody, closing our eyes, just because it calms us down and relaxes us. All right. Okay, so instantly, again, I'm just saying that I've got a long partnership with these guys. They're instantly coming in and they're instantly flowing through my auric field. And they're instantly flowing into your auric fields. Beautiful teams of spirit healers are coming to help you right now. So closing your eyes. Nice deep breath. This is a moment of receiving, everyone. I'm not going to be talking too much. So what I'd love you to do is simply relax, close your eyes. The worlds of spirit, these spirit technician healers are arriving in your auric field and they're scanning your Akashic records right now. They're scanning you. They're taking a look at who you are in this lifetime, the personality, your soul, energy field. And now because they're super accelerated, they're very fast. I can tell, I can see them instantly starting to travel down corridors and the matrix of your Akashic records. And they're searching. They're scanning and they're searching. So this is many people who come to my group healings. I just want to say that I do monthly 1.5 hour deep dives into working with the Akashic records and training everyone to partner with their spirit teams. So we do a live stream every month, and I sort of welcome you guys to come along to that. But I just want to say that every time we do this, it's the scanning where they're looking to see which is the big one that they want to work with. That takes the time, because the actual transmutation is really fast. So this is the moment where they're taking a look at what they want to work with you. So we're just having our eyes closed, relaxed, letting them take a look at our auric field. And by the way, in a moment like this, because they are present with you, this is a great moment to tell them in your mind one big thing in your life that you want changed. See, this whole thing of asking, I really build it in. It's really important that you get used to asking your spirit teams to help you. So bring into your mind's eye just something that you want changed in your life, whether it's your health, relationships, money, something that's happening in your reality, your feelings, just whatever it is. And just let them know, because they can start working on that long term with you. But right now they are doing a very specific hunting for the big one today, like the big fish. Might be a moment. They're traveling. I can see them just traveling. If this was a sci-fi movie, they'd be traveling through membranes and membranes and membranes and membranes, going, nope, that's not a priority, nope. Because they're looking for the priority. Won't be a moment, they're nearly there. As soon as they find it, big work's going to happen. Okay, they're telling me that they're, screeching to a halt. They've come to this really big thing that's happened to you in your lifetimes, previous lifetimes, Akashic record memories. This is what they are looking at now. They're looking at the wound spot in the matrix of your Akashic records. This is a big one. And they're reading it. It's like reading a book. What happened, who you were, what your attention was, what your life was, what the circumstances were, who interrupted you, who tripped you up. This is what they're looking at. Reading the story. Okay, they're saying to me they're very ready to actually do the actual transmutation and the healing. Okay, everyone, staying really quiet, really still. You might yawn, you might want to move your body, you might want to stretch, like the body wants to move sometimes when something's getting shifted. So I'm just going to go quiet for just a moment. My spirit teams are saying they're very satisfied with doing this work with you. satisfying for them. And they're showing me how you know how there's a stack of cards and they're pulling out some of those cards at the very bottom so the whole stack falls. That's what they're showing me they're doing. Okay, this is big. The stack of cards is collapsing. And they're telling me to let you know that over the next few days, some grief might come up, or some moments in your life might come up that sort of challenge you to stay calm. So it's a little bit like a regurgitation of that moment from a long, long, long past lifetime, long time ago, might sort of show up like some kind of a reframed experience. And they're saying it'll end, that particular experience or that moment will end in empowerment and relaxation rather than fear, or hope rather than fear. So there'll be a rewiring of your neuron pathways and of your deep, deep core, because they're actually working at a core level today, not surface memories, but very ancient memories. We're very lucky to have this today. So that's just telling me that a deep grief frequency is being released right now out of your auric field. And they're showing, they're sort of letting me know and showing me actually that different frequencies are accompanying that, like rage and fear. A kind of part of that little conglomerate package of frequencies all bundled up. It's all being released. They're showing me it's like popping a balloon and all the air gets let out. All right. They're happy with that, Christy. That was really fast. The actual sort of popping of the balloon and the releasing is quick once they...
It does. It happens so fast, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And right when you started, right before you started, my dog, she usually doesn't come over here too much, but she actually got up in my lap when you first started.
Oh my goodness!
So this is Luna.
Oh my God, that's so good.
She came over here and was pawing at me.
Oh, that's so sweet. I just want to say I recently was in New York at an exhibition at the Guggenheim Museum, and they were showing, just to end the session, I just want to show you something. They were showing a exhibition of in the 1920s, or in the turn of the century of the 1800s, sorry, the 1900s, sorry, the 1800s going into the 1900s. There was this extraordinary artist who was a technical artist, and she decided to channel spirit and let go of all her technical way that she would paint, and became very simple and just guided by spirit in her art. And the Guggenheim Museum in New York is very famous, all of you guys know. And just recently the exhibition finished, and the Guggenheim, the people who put on this exhibition of this woman's art, she was so humble, Swedish woman, Helma af Klint, her name is, and very, very humble. She was sort of associated with the early start of the Theosophical Society. And people just kind of didn't take her very seriously, just really quickly. And she, when she died, she left a note saying she didn't want any of her art exhibited, all this channeled art, exhibited for 20 years. And she wanted it exhibited in a temple to art that was spiral, which the Guggenheim is in New York. It's this beautiful spiral. Oh, wow. Like, she didn't know, right? But I've got one of her main pieces here, and I want to show you. I hope it comes up.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Just showing. It's just an example of the kind of psychic art.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, that she did. And it's one of my favorite pieces.
Yeah.
So it was mind-blowing. What I wanted to say was that the people who put on the exhibition at the Guggenheim, just really quickly, just cannot understand that they've had 800,000 people They've had to extend the exhibition. 800,000 people have gone through to look at this exhibition. And the biggest ever exhibition they've ever had before was 400,000. And they don't understand why so many people need to come and see this exhibition, because there's so much spirit love pouring out of her art. It's very powerful. It's like going to a church. And the sort of psychic energy that's coming through her art. Just wanted to share that. It was exciting. I actually traveled all the way from Australia to see it.
I know, right? And yes, so people can find you and check out, go to soulmentoring.com/courses, but there's the website right there. And soulmentoring.com/courses. And you can look up what she has to offer there. Check that out. And also we'll put it in the comments below to the links.
Christy, I've just realized something, everybody. It's just go to soulmentoring.com and go to the menu, and click in the menu courses. I'm so sorry, because I've given you the wrong, I've just realized. It's actually soulmentoring.com/store. soulmentoring.com/store. But in the menu, it's courses. I forgot.
Yeah, they'll find that. They'll find that for sure. And also, I do have a couple of accelerator images. And anyone that shares this out, I choose someone. Whoever shares out this week, I choose someone throughout the week. So I won't choose them until right before the show next week. So you've got a whole week to share out. And whoever shares this out, I choose someone each week from those that share out. So I'll pick someone. The person from last week is Shelly Hall. She's been sharing out my video. She's been doing great. And I've been kind of noticing her for several weeks now. And so I had her on the list last week. And then, and there were several. I'll write down several names and I'll just kind of go with, what I'm guided to. So this week I chose Shelly Hall. So share this out and put in the comments that you shared. And that way, I can definitely go back and check that, okay? And also, I've got 2 accelerator images. These are by Brian DeFlores of Light Quest International. So I'm going to be sending out the frequencies of these to anyone that would like to receive them. The first one is, I think I did this one first. The Fountain of Youth is youthful mind, body, and spirit. So it's kind of that mind, body, soul, just that overall youthful for that. That's what it looks like.
Beautiful.
Okay. So anyone that would like to receive that, I'm going to send this out. And the other one that came up for today is, let's see, Keelatoni Temple. And this is physical and spiritual regeneration. So this one came up for today.
Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that. Gorgeous.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to send this out to anyone that would like to receive these frequencies. They will receive them. And this works on the replay too. So Alicia, when you do your process, does that work on the replay too? Does that invite in your on the replay? Okay.
Great question. So these spirit teams, they come and they arrive because they read your intention. So if you're listening and watching this as a replay, they will arrive and they'll do the work. They're present. Yeah. Beautiful. I know. Thank you.
And so definitely check that out. And let me get that down. There we go. Okay. So yeah, you've got, like I said, a whole week to share this out, and even beyond that, because it'll be here from the Akashic Academy page and anywhere where it was shared to, where they allow sharing. But if not, go back to the original video here on the Akashic Academy page, and you can share it out from there. I also will, right after we're done here, I will upload it to my YouTube channel. So it'll be a YouTube video too. And there's hundreds of videos there that anyone can go to and check those out as well. So if anyone would like to get in touch with me, my website is very easy, ChristyWarnick.com. Go there and sign up for my email list. I'm going to be doing it's a Youthful Vitality MP4. So it'll be a video that I'll send out to those on my email list. So you can just go to my website and just fill out the form there if you haven't done so already. But I'm going to be getting that ready in the next week. And so be sure to go there and do that, and check out soulmentoring.com for Alicia there, and go to her page there, her website, and check out the courses that she has available. All right, so
soulmentoring.com, guys.
Yes,
come and join me for more acceleration.
Absolutely. And the AkashicAcademy.com. If you go there, you can check out the membership. You can actually sign up to get a free copy of the Akashic magazine. It'll be downloaded, and you can get all the previous editions as well. So you can go there and get that. And so check that out. And on the Akashic Academy, there are shows every day of the week. So you can come on the Akashic Academy page here, Facebook page, and check out the whole lineup. Every day there's different shows and different amazing shows, amazing show hosts, and all of that. So check that out. And thank you so much for being here with me, Alicia. I'm so happy that we did this, and that I go with what I'm guided to as well, because you just showed up one day, and I don't know, sometimes I'll just get a yes, it's just as simple as yes. And so I'll reach out to that person and ask them to come on my show. So that's kind of how I'm guided to different people like that. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been a huge pleasure, actually.
Absolutely. So everyone, you can continue to comment even on the replay. If you're watching the replay, that's awesome. I'll go back and check the comments later. So thank you all for being here. Catch me at my normal time every Tuesday, same time, same place on the Akashic Academy page here. My normal time is 12 p.m. Eastern time, which is 9 a.m. Pacific time. So, but today was a special time because of Alicia and her time zone there. So so thank you all for joining us, and I will see you all again next week. I will also be on, check out my Facebook page as well, because there is, I'm going to be on tomorrow with Chris Burns, and I'm going to be talking about transformation through inspiration and determination. So be sure to check that out. I'll be sharing it to my Facebook page, and I will see you all again next week. So you stay with me, Alicia, and thank you all, everyone else, for being here. I will see you all again next time. Thank you so much.
Namaste.